Okay. So just know that this event is being recorded, and you can see prior sessions on the Career USA YouTube channel to view at your leisure. We'll have more on that in just a moment. And by participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. And note that the chat do not appear in the recording. So while Jeff is out, Matt and I have agreed to volunteer to help continue the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. So we're just interim leaders. We're waiting for Jeff to come back. Jeff actually started the careerdfw.org and careerdfw.usa channels. He's been running this group actually since 2007. So he's the owner of the Career DFW in USA. He wrote a book called What You May Not, Your Job Search and What You May Not Know About Your Job Search. And you can buy that on Amazon. It's a compilation of speakers that have, he picked out a gem or two from each and compile all of those and put them in. So it's a pretty good book to take a look at. So he's also been a member of the Dallas Peak Crew, the practice interview team. So Matt has added a couple things this week for us. And in that, Matt, you want to talk about these special announcements?
I do. Oh, thank you. There are 2 job fairs next week. You may have heard about the North Texas Job Fair. There's another one on the same day at the same time. I don't know what brain trust made that happen, but the first one is the North Texas Job Fair. You can go to mynxtjobs.com and register. It does require registration, and it's at Globe Life Field. Starts at 11. The second one is the 25th Annual Dallas Professional Diversity Career Fair. If you search for that at eventbrite.com, you can register for that one as well. That one starts at 11:30 next Thursday. So unfortunately, you have to make a choice. But the one we've been promoting at South Lake and others is the North Texas Job Fair at Globe Life. It's going to be a big event. South Lake is actually going to have a booth there. So come by and say hi. Any questions on that? All right. A resource that I got from another group is the ultimate list of companies still hiring at jobscan.co. It's kind of hard to find. It's not in a menu. You have to know the URL. You can't even search for it on the JobScan website. So I've given you the URL here. It's jobscan.co/companies-hiring. And I will include this in the email follow-up that I send to everybody. So no problem there. According to JobScan, this is updated in real time. They use several websites and news outlets, and it's also crowdsourced. So companies themselves can go in and update whether they're hiring or not, and if they had to lay off and things like that. It's got 11,000 companies in it right now. So it appears to be pretty complete, but the caveat is they're unable to verify all that information. And, you know, that's obvious. To keep up with 11,000 would be arduous at best. Any questions on that? All right. Believe it or not, I have finally figured out how to upload the recordings to the Career USA YouTube channel. So here's a list of all the things that I've uploaded over the last 24, 48 hours. I will include this list as well in the follow-up email later today. And from this point forward, you can't imagine how long this took. I will keep up with it. It doesn't take so darn long. So by the time I send the email out for the follow-up for this meeting, I will have uploaded the video if you want to rewatch it, and I'll include the direct link to that video as well. So you can scan the list, and if there's a particular event that you missed and wanted to check out, please go out to youtube.com, search for Career USA, and all of these will be there for not just this meeting, but also the LinkedIn Tuesday meeting that Patty Pashy is running for us. you go to youtube.com and search for the Career USA channel.
Hey,
All
Matt,
word. Yes, ma'am.
this is Rosina. Hey, I'll put the link in the chat because it's to the playlist.
Thank you.
Not a
Appreciate it.
problem. That way it's directly to the playlist, and then they could just click on whichever one that they want.
Very
I
good.
put it in the chat as well, so.
Sounds good. And if anyone sees an anomaly, please let me know. This is the first time I've done this. I've never played with YouTube Studio, which is the tool that they provide to monkey with videos and upload and name them. So if you see something amiss, please let me know.
Thanks
will
so
not-
much, Matt.
I do not claim to be a YouTube expert.
We appreciate you so much. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any questions? All right.
Thank you much, Matt. And a couple of you said, thank you. You would not know how much Matt has put in on the technology part of trying to be Jeff with some of the things, because we don't have credentials to be Jeff. We can't get into the careerdfw.org or USA channels. And so we wanted to make sure that when you clicked on the link on a calendar item there, you could get into this group. So that only took about 3 weeks to figure that out. So, and Matt's done all of that. He's done all that work behind the scenes, and he's helping with the technology. He's even helping with it today, as our computer in the room is still updating Windows. It has been doing that for at least 45 minutes now. So I want to thank Matt especially for all the work and time that he spent in to help make this work. Thank you so much. And we got some applause in the room. Thank you. So our agenda today is we're going to talk about success stories. I have our 30-second introductions, our committee reports, tip of the week, workshop, and the pit crew, and then we'll go to the main event. So first thing, do we have any landings to announce? Anybody online? Well, I do. I can announce one. I want to tell you a short story. It's a long story that I have a hard time making things short, which is what I preach. Let's start with brevity. My nephew landed. He retired after 28 years of service in the military. He was a bird colonel, full colonel, if you all of you in the military know what that means, and was looking for a job, transition into the civilian environment. He put on his LinkedIn page and he made connections, got connections with people in the business and people where he had known, where he worked before, got all that set up. He asked me to look at his resume. So I don't really do resumes. I gave him a couple of tips. So he was getting all ready. He took a PMP course. And I said, well, you've been in projects for years. Why'd you do that? He says, I learned the civilian technology of project management as opposed to the military technology. So he learned the new industry. And that's a cool tip. That's a good tip that we should do if we're moving into an industry, to learn that industry and its lingo. So he did that, and he got a call, and they wanted to talk to him. So come in and talk to him. He said, well, what happened? He set up an interview. So he went in and they all talked about culture questions to him. And he was confused because he said, I don't understand I'm not getting the regular interview questions. Well, come to find out through his connections, his old boss at Ryland Homes was one of his connections. They called that boss and asked about Blake, that's his name. But the bottom line was, say you're an idiot if you don't hire Blake. So the interview was the type where he already had the job. They already had the I do taken care of. He had the references. They knew all that stuff. And all they wanted to do now was check culture fit. So, that's amazing. How can you, what do you ask for that's better than that? So when I interviewed him, then he found out that the person who interviewed him had a director reporting to him, and he would be reporting to the director. So it was 2 levels down. Come to find out, the director is going to retire, and they're hiring him for his job when he retires. So now he is at this lower level, the 2 levels down to come aboard. And sure enough, they made him the offer. They offered him 125. He negotiated to 185. All right. And so, but that's director level pay. Okay. But they were doing that. Anyway, he was able to negotiate that. and get on board with that. And it's all due to his preparation, his work, his connections, he things that he did to put that in. And so what a story for Blake. And so I'm really happy for him that he was able to do that. And so now he has he calls it his retirement pay, belongs to his wife, and then he gets to have this money that's coming in with his job. Okay. So that's Blake's story. Congratulations to Blake. All right, well, we're going to move on to our 30-second introduction. So in the Zoom chat, for those of you online, I've added a parameter of the city. I'd like to know which city you're in, because we have a lot of people that are not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It'd be interesting to know where you are. And I know that Patty's like in Phoenix and other things, but put in your LinkedIn URL, your email, your phone number, and put in like the type of job you're looking for, the title or something like that. Play with titles some, because, I worked for a company for about 10 years and I had 3 titles and the job never changed. But put in your title. And then if you've got target companies, put those in. Put in the name of the target company that I will use to insert into my search in LinkedIn. Toyota has many different names. So put in the title so that I can run to the LinkedIn, put in that title and see if I have any first, second degree connections with that. All right. And then you can hit the return. I'll give you a little time to do that. No music today. I didn't turn the sound on. I could, but I'm not. So for those of you that are in the room, while the people are doing that on the chat window, we have a microphone and a computer, at the front. So if you would line up, come up to the front and introduce yourself. And it has the agenda on that screen up there. You can see with your name. When you give your name, you pause between your first and last names so that people can understand it clearly. What kind of job you're looking for? What is it that makes you different? What is your brand? And what are your contacts? And I'm looking for contacts at these companies. And where are companies that you have information, where you have contacts and connections that you can help others? And then repeat your name again at the end. It's interesting. We hear your name and then we say, oh, I know something, but we forgot who you were. So then at the end, you say your name again. Okay.
So everybody watch me, and then that way you don't have to do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kimberly Ball. I'm Kimberly Ball, B-A-L-L. I'm a transitioning teacher. I have a BBA in accounting. I'm not just like going into it because I don't like it. And lost my train of thought.
You're also transitioning to
Yes, I'm transitioning. I would prefer an accounting consultant role, but anything in accounting would be awesome. I think I'm wearing down Deloitte. I think they're tired of hearing from me already, so maybe they're gonna hire me to shut me up. Wouldn't be the first time that's happened. And I have lots of connections in education. I actually was able to help somebody with a contact there. So again, I'm Kimberly Ball, B-A-L-L.
Thank you, Kimberly. Hey, everybody. My name is Steve Sulkin. I'm a director of process improvement. I help people work together better. I can help with contacts at Baylor Scott & White Health, and I'm looking for a contact at Cook Children's. My name is Steve Sulkin.
Hello, my name is Steve Clements. I'm a experienced design product strategist leader. Focus across all types of industries, from healthcare to convenience retail, to technology, to hospitality, airlines. Over the last 10 years, I'm looking for contacts at right now Raytheon and NTT Data. And like I said, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm happy to provide any guidance I can. My name is Steve Clements.
Hello, my name is Phil Young. I'm a financial analyst and CPA. My job is to help executives keep their spending in line so that we have more money for raises and keep people employed. I'm looking at healthcare primarily. So if you have contacts at Baylor Scott and White or UT Southwestern, that would be great, or any of the major hospitals. Let me see, I have contacts at Vizient and US Acute Care Solutions. Again, my name is Phil Young. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jim Sinkovic. I'm in corporate HR, comp and benefits. So hopefully my next role is director or senior director role in corporate HR. When you're in corporate HR, you're trying to make sure benefits work for everybody and are highly valued by everybody. So that's what I strive to do. Let's see. Right now, the main thing I have in the works is at Workday. So I have an interview set up with Workday's HR function. So that's next for me. I just came from Vizient, so I don't know Bill. So maybe I'll introduce myself here in a second. Again, my name is Jim Sinkovic.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jama Ball. I'm an experienced global operations leader who thrives on creating order out of chaos. I drive operational excellence by focusing on the customer experience and optimizing service delivery and product implementation. I am looking for roles with the title Director of Operations Excellence, Service Delivery or Implementation. And I need contacts at Red Brick Staffing and Go-To Foods this week. I have contacts in the hospitality industry. My name is Jama Ball.
Hi, my name is Eric Kreischer. I'm looking for a senior recruiter position. I help candidates and companies connect. Not sure I need contacts at yet. This just happened, so I'm working on my target list. I do have contacts just about everywhere, mainly in engineering and IT. We've got about 25,000 people on LinkedIn, so probably could help you find some breakdowns fund. I'll tell you how they work. My name's Eric Kreischer.
Hi, my name's Diane Bednar. I'm looking for jobs as a regional retail manager or a director of retail operations. I just help companies make sure their stores run efficiently and look for ways to increase profit. I have contacts at Columbia Sportswear. Again, my name is Diane Bednar.
Hello, my name is Heidi Angiano. I'm a project manager. I'm looking for something in pharma or banking. I do have contacts in the telecom industry. My name is Heidi Angiano.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Peter Watson. I think I'm the only Englishman for a change. That is Peter Watson. I'm service delivery and project management, largely in technology. I'm looking in the Plano and nearby cities, and I'm from Plano, not originally. And my name is, contacts in Verizon and Ericsson, and my name is Peter Watson.
Hi, I'm Penn Hoyt. I'm B2B Director of Marketing, specializing in lead generation, demand generation. Outcome is the same. Right now, I'm looking for a connection with T-Mobile in their business department. That's a smaller one that they have, but my forte tends to be more within the small to medium-sized companies. Again, Penn Hoyt, and I've got contacts all over the place because I've reached that at their stage.
You're a kid.
I'm still standing.
Good morning, everybody. My name is William McLaughlin. I'm currently seeking a data analyst role, and I help companies do the research necessary that will help them improve their bottom line. Looking for contacts at CoreLogic and Dave & Buster's. My name is William McLaughlin. Thank you very much.
You, Elvis.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Ravi Teja, and I'm working as a Vice President of Sales at Datacode INC. I help companies with IT staffing and IT solutions, and pretty much like IT services, staff augmentation, and providing end-to-end outsourcing. So I need contacts at some IT staffing companies which are located in the DFW area. And again, my name is Ravi Teja.
Good morning. I'm Phil Elster. Am I in the right place?
You're in the right
I
place.
have a halo here on the, and it's only temporary. I'm a PMP project manager. Several years in IT. Most of it was in telecom back when there was such a thing. But I've been acting as in the role of executive producer of broadcasts of high school football games for the last 10 years, succeeding my late dad in that family business. However, I'm now retired from that job and I'm ready to get back into managing projects here in the Dallas area. I'm Phil Elsner.
Thanks, Phil. We get everybody?
Good morning.
We got one more.
One more.
That's you.
Matt Keelan, IT VP or Director. I help companies manage their IT dollars wisely. I am obviously, I need contacts at Toyota this week. I have contacts at Cherry Becker and Grant Thornton. Again, my name is Matt Keelan.
Thank you, Matt. So I had someone in the chat window ask if I could give an update on Jeff's status. Jeff is holds his medical information very close. For those of you that don't know, Jeff had a fall and a traumatic brain injury. And with that injury, it has messed up quite a bit of things. And so I saw him last Saturday, and he is definitely improving. He is in a rehab at this moment and will probably be in rehab for a while, but he is progressing through that. So we still continue to pray for him, and his son and daughter are with him as well. So prayers for him. And in the room, we have a card for those of you who would like to sign the card for Jeff. It's kind of a get well card. And Matt or I will be sure and get that to Jeff as we visit him from time to time. So thanks for asking. Okay. Next is Rosina and online. So we got to have the introductions there. So Rosina, if you would start with that, I'll hold off on your tip of the week, but go ahead and just do our online introductions.
Okay, Walt, thank you. All right, well, good morning, everybody. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm your Career Tip of the Week host. I am currently looking for a senior talent acquisition consultant or senior recruiter position. Basically, I'm in the business of helping companies find the right talent to fill their current open roles in their culture. I need contacts at Delta Dental, MetLife, and Cigna. Yet I am open to other industry possibilities and have worked across many industries. So as I hear them, I'll make sure I reach out to those people who are asking for it. So again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Consultant.
Thank you. Patty?
Hi, everybody. I'm Patty Bashy. I'm located in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm looking for an account director, senior customer success manager, a role at a marketing research company. I help companies build relationships with their clients and also build top line sales. I can help you with contacts at Nielsen and Kantar, and I'm looking for contacts at Ipsos and Mintel. My name is Patty Bashy.
Thanks, Patty. Vitaly? Unmute.
Good morning. My name is Vitaly Platonov. I'm looking for supply chain or logistics manager position, targeting Navistar, Toyota, North America, and GM. I provide solutions for mostly for vehicle transportation these days, and my passion is to get job done, whatever happens, to deliver goods at the destination and to cut cost if it's possible. I have contacts. I have many connections already, and I hope they could be valuable for those of you seeking for contacts at many companies. I have more than 600 contacts. Please don't hesitate to contact me. Again, my name is Vitaly Platonov. Thank you.
Okay. Brad.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brad Yearwood. I help companies lead their digital transformation in the data and analytics space. I've got 29 years of IT experience. The majority of that was with a Fortune 50 company in the CPG space. I need contacts at Microsoft and Bank of America. I'm actually getting an interview at Bank of America is what I'm being told. So hasn't happened yet. So I'm optimistic there. And I have many contacts at PepsiCo. So if anybody's interested in working there, got lots of opportunities there for contacts. Again, my name's Brad Yearwood.
Thanks, Brad. Steve.
My name is Steve Rowan. I'm a retired .NET developer. I'm not looking for a job exactly right now. I'm just sort of still calling these career groups because there's lots of stuff to learn. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thanks, Steve. And our California bridge participant, Mr. Mansour.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Amr Mansour. I'm located in Allen, Texas. I'm looking for a project director or program director role. I lead complex projects and programs that bring business value. I can help with contacts at Blue Cross Blue Shield. And currently, I don't have any target companies. My name is Amr Mansour.
Morning, Alkeisha.
Good morning, everyone. Alkeisha Rodriguez. I'm a technical implementation project manager. I'm located in DFW, Plano specifically, and I am looking for a position where I can use my skill set. I'm every engineer's favorite project manager. Alkeisha Rodriguez.
Thanks, Alkeisha. Hi, Glenn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Glenn Meggs. I'm a retired PhD mathematical scientist, background in signal processing, currently facilitating the engineering focus group. Glenn Meggs.
Thanks, Glenn. Etienne. I have to unmute. There you go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Etienne Joseph. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I'm looking for a campus recruiting manager role. I've got over 15 years of TA experience in manufacturing, healthcare, consumer products, and technologies. I help companies build their early career talent pipelines to improve their diversity and their bench strength across all functions. Currently looking for contacts at Dapper Labs, AT&T, and GM. And I've got contacts at Workday, Intuit, and IBM. My name is Etienne Joseph. Thank you.
Thanks, Etienne. Brian, same as my middle name.
Morning. My name is Brian Jerome. I'm a supply chain specialist focused in inventory planning, scheduling in the manufacturing part of the company. My name is Brian Jerome.
Thanks, Brian. Mr. Boudreau.
Good morning, everybody. Scott Boudreau, Certified Planning Inventory Management. I'm also in supply chain, specializing in inventory control and production planning. Looking for a job in Central New Jersey or remotely. If it has a part number, I can manage it. If it doesn't, I'll create one. Scott Boudreau.
Sorry for my southern pronunciation of your last name, Scott.
No problem.
Okay, Graciela.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Graciela Custer. I am seeking a digital marketing position. I help with strategic planning, which has contributed to timely communication and hyper organization. And target companies, three, for an example, are Ethics and Public Policy Foundation, National Research and Competitive Enterprise Institute. I'll put all this in the chat as well. My name is Graciela Custer. Thank you.
Thanks, Graciela. Lauren. Lauren. Hello. Okay, Jeff, I know you're mixing up some things this morning.
Sorry, yep. Hi, my name is Jeff Prass. I'm coming to you from the North Shore of Chicago. I'm looking for a position in a nonprofit or education sector. My background is director of education or operations, and right now I'm not looking at any organizations specifically, but open to lots of options. My name is Jeff Prass.
Thank you, sir. Dan?
Hi, Dan Morton. I am looking for a product management or technology leadership role. I'm here in Dallas, and yeah, Dan Morton.
Did I miss anybody? If I missed anybody, just jump in. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for doing that. So let me get rid of a couple of windows so I can see what I'm doing. So the career tip of the week, Rosina.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, good morning again, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm the Career Tip of the Week host. And this week's career tip is going to focus on how to quantify resume achievements. So this article particularly is, and let me best back up and say what I said last week. For the month of July, I focused on making sure you guys had guides and resources and tools that focused on how to really write out your accomplishments in a quantifiable way on your resume so that you can also speak highly of them and show the impact and value you can bring when you also talk about these things numerically and percentage wise and things during an interview. So it has a lot of different purposes. And so in July, I covered a lot of the different tools and resources and guides, again, for accomplishments. And now I'm kind of stretching that into specifically how exactly to quantify your resume. So that's kind of where we're going this week, or this month, excuse me. So again, this article is How to Quantify Resume Achievements. It's written by Erin Case. And basically, quantifying your resume involves adding specific numbers to highlight your achievements. And such numbers could include the percentage of profit that you increased, or the time that you spent doing something, or how many people you actually supervised. And this makes your resume stand out and demonstrates your impact. Keep in mind, you are in competition with other people very similar to yourself. And it could just be one or two little things that could differentiate you from another person. That is going to be why this is so critically important. And the fact that now we're in August, kids are going back to school, more people will be in the job market. So just keep that in mind as well. All right, so here's how to quantify your resume. First, you want to identify achievements or tasks that can be expressed with numbers throughout your work history. You want to choose numbers that make you look the best and incorporate them into your resume sections. You want to use numerals instead of spelling out the numbers for better visual impact. And then you want to tailor the numbers that you highlight based on the specific job that you're applying to. You want to do quantifiable achievements, and they can be related to money, time, workload, and management. So as they relate to money, you want to show how you increased profits, reduced cost, and managed budgets. As it relates to time, you want to show complete projects that were ahead of schedule, that increased efficiency, reduced time to market. As they relate to workload, you want to say how you handled high volumes of tasks or met productivity goals. And then you want, as it relates to management, you want to show how you led teams and oversaw large projects. Now, you can quantify achievements in various resume sections. So those sections could be in your introduction, work experience, education, or additional skills. So when you are quantifying your achievements in the resume introduction, you want to highlight your years of experience and key accomplishments. In the work experience section, you want to use action verbs and numbers to showcase results, such as increased sales by 20% or something of that nature. When you're looking at quantifying your achievements in education, you want to include GPA if it's a strong GPA, like 3.6 or higher, and quantify coursework or extracurricular activities or achievements. And then for additional skills section, demonstrate your skill level with metrics or visual representations. So when it comes again to quantifying resume achievements, you want to remember to adapt your resume to the specific job that you're applying for. You want to review and download some of the sample resumes that are contained within this guide. You want to watch all of the videos because there's a lot of video that wants to play in there in this guide. And so, again, lots of great examples. And then you want to open all the active links for additional resources that are contained behind the scenes. I hope you guys enjoy this tool and find it valuable and have a fantastic and enjoyable weekend.
Thank you much, Rosina. We sincerely appreciate all the work you do to do the research and development for these tips of the week, and appreciate your support and help with the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So let's talk about the interview success workshop briefly. This is something that I offer to help with our interviewing skills. It's free. You have to be registered to attend. My Yahoo address, which is on my banner page on my LinkedIn page, will give you where you can send me an email to get registered so that I can get you scheduled. The workshop is not a mock interview. It is a learning interview. It is not a stressful interview. It's one where we can focus on learning how to sell ourselves as defined by telling and articulating who we are, what we do, and how we combine those to say, and here's how I can help. People hire us to achieve, not just to do. And they want to make sure that our personality and soft skills and all that match. So there's a culture match. Yes, looks like you can do the job, which is like a screening interview, primarily focuses on that. But are you the right fit? Meaning, yes, I'm the right kind of personality character. It fits the culture that I like, and I can do these activities, those things, and I can help you achieve these. So it's how to learn how to sell ourselves. So when we walk into the interview, are we thinking of responding or are we thinking of selling? Because we're all in a selling situation. Everyone agrees to that. So let's do some sales stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about in the workshop. Look me up on LinkedIn under Walt Class. Gives you the information about the workshop. In my About section gives you details for that. Be glad to have you participate. Just send me that email and we'll get you on the calendar. Here is a QR code and an email that'll get you started. If you want to just copy that QR code, it'll help you just fill in a couple of the blanks and get that information. So that makes it easy for you to send me a request and do it via email. So I want to talk about the practice interview team. Matt, can you talk about the practice interview team?
Sure. It's great. Just kidding. Practice interview team stands for PIT crew. PIT stands for practice interview team. Sorry, caught me off guard. And it meets every Wednesday, actually right here in this room. at least the first, second, and third Wednesday, and fifth Wednesday of the month, it's in person. The fourth Wednesday, it's online, so the people around the country can participate. It's fantastic. I've been through it a couple of times myself. I'm currently a panelist, which means an interviewer. These interviewers spend quite a bit of time preparing for an interview. If you give us a job description and your resume, we will formulate some custom questions and spend about 40 to 50 minutes with you, performing an interview and then giving you feedback right away. And then there's everyone who's not participating or being interviewed that week sits behind you and observes. And then we get you will get feedback from them as well. It's fantastic. It taught me a lot when I went through it. And what else can I say? I think that's it. Come join us. Oh, we are booked out about 6 weeks. So if you do want to participate and actually be a panelist, I suggest you come and observe at first and see, what's involved. But then send an email to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com and we'll get you on the list. We try to do 3 per week. But like I said, we're booked out about 6 weeks. So get on the list. They're going fast.
We do a lot of work in job search, and then we get down to the interview. And so that's the reason I actually chose interviewing. I'm a panelist also on the pit crew to support that. So in light of the interview success workshop and the pit crew, do you believe in deja vu? I think I've said a poem or two. If you don't know what that means, practice interviewing is where this one leans. Nice. All right, lunch report. So for those of you in the room and those of you that are close by, if you'd like to join us for lunch at Dickey's Barbecue today, we'll meet there at 11:45. It's 4032 Preston Road. It's at the corner of Parker and Spring Creek. It's actually in between Parker and south of Spring Creek. So anyway, it's close by. Enjoy coming at Dickey's Barbecue today. And I'll remind you that again. So just a reminder, on the first week of the month, Jeff always reminds us that the careerw.org and the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group are 2 different organizations. And so while he happens to maintain and run the Career DFW website, this is the difference with the Plano Career Focus Group. All right. So let's get into the main event. We're going to open forum, so you have some questions. So I'll request that you turn on your video. And it says, let's see your smiling face. And so I got to practice smiling today. Everyone get on. We'll start with that. If you want to have a question, you want to put it into the chat window. If you're online, of course, in the room, we'll recognize you here. And you can put a question in the chat window and we'll move along. All right. So let me start here. Who wants to start? Who has a question? Who has a challenge? ETN.
Can I just go ahead and just say it through the video? Is that fine as opposed to putting in the chat?
The chat is just to get us started so that I can
Okay.
recognize you. Yes. So
Cool.
I'm going to start monitoring the chat, but go ETN. Yes.
Okay,
the answer to your
perfect.
question is yes.
All right, thanks, Walt. I just have a question about, and I mean, this is kind of frustrating for me because I'm in talent acquisition, but it's kind of different sitting on that other side. But I'm having challenges getting feedback from companies that I've interviewed with and follow up. Any ideas, recommendations, thoughts on how I can, elicit some sort of response? And it's before the interview and it's after the interview too. As an example, I had a company that I submitted a resume to that I didn't hear anything from for like 40 days. And I counted, it was exactly 40 days. Then they responded and said, "Hey, we'd like to interview you." Like, okay, so we scheduled the interview. I interviewed with the hiring manager on the 4th of July, mind you. And he said, "Yeah, this is a great interview. I've got a couple other people I'm talking to that I want to interview. I'll get back to you by the end of next week." Crickets. sent him a follow-up email. He responded right away to the follow-up email, thanking me for the time and for the message. And then, like I said, I waited about 10 days because I hadn't heard anything. And then I followed up again, and I have not heard anything since.
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts about that. Unless, Walt, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I use a crowbar, but go ahead, Patty.
So as far as follow up with interviews, I have a much shorter cycle that I follow up with. I know you wait 10 days. I actually have that call to action as part of my interview. So the next step is I will contact you or the HR person by this date. If I don't hear from you by this date, I'm going to follow up with you. And I have a very short window of doing that. So I would shorten it from 10 days to, 5 or something. And so that you can get a faster turnaround on that. And then the other thing is regarding feedback from employers about your interview. Generally speaking, they won't provide you feedback for fear of being sued. So most companies that I know of don't provide feedback. So
I can certainly appreciate that, but have you had an experience where you just haven't received like anything at all, like not even a rejection letter, like saying, "Hey, we decided to go with a different candidate"?
Okay,
yeah, I've
everybody in
been
the room and
ghosted that
online,
way.
raise your hand.
I've been ghosted. I
Yes.
just move on.
Yeah, we all have. That's
Yeah.
true. Thank you, Patty. In fact, in the
Thank
in the
you.
workshop, I talk about part of the close when you finish is who will I hear back from? When should I hear back from them? And if I don't hear back from that date, how may I contact them? Maybe it's somebody online or somebody there. So who would I be the person? And when's a good time? In other words, just simply ask when to get back. And if they give you permission to say, yeah, you can call us, then you got a better chance of getting a response. And so you call and guess what? You leave a voice message. And in there you say, hey, you're talk to you, still interested in the company. You're very excited about the job, working here, just to let you know I'm still available. And if I don't hear from you, bye, and you set another date. All right. And you go through the contact. If you want to speak in the room, we got a microphone. Who's the microphone handler today? Thanks, Matt.
Walt.
Glenn, go ahead.
Yeah, just a thought. One, ATN, you said that he ended the interview by saying, I'll get back to you end of next week. We're told, and Walt I think has done this too, says this as well. If you're in a conversation with somebody and you want to do something and you set a time and a date with them to do something, follow up at that time and date about that. He said, I will get back to you. Since he didn't, even if kind of 10 days or whatever response cycle was what you were using, he said the end of next week. That to me opened the door to, if you don't hear from me,
right,
talk to me. So I mean that should have you should have just followed the day after that. Apologies. I guess I kind of buried the lead there. I did follow up with him the day after he said he was going to get back to me.
Right.
Again, reiterating interest, saying, hey, I know you said you had a couple other people still interested in the opportunity, would like to, just kind of get a feel for where things are. And he didn't respond at all.
And I just wanted another thought in another group that I'm in. One of the people in there just posted a day or two ago that she'd interviewed for a position, good interview, all that sort of stuff. They responded to her afterwards that they weren't going to hire her, but that they said we're a growing company, so keep looking at us and stuff. So that was unusual. I mean, as Walt suggested a while ago, everybody's gone through that. No response. I guess the term of art right now is you're being ghosted by the companies. But one of the things that was in her response about the letter she got was that it was a smallish company. She didn't say how small, but it was obviously not a major, well-known company, but smallish company. And I was just wondering if there was any correlation at all with the size of the company and this tendency to respond, or this tendency to not respond to people. If anybody had noticed any correlation at all with that. That's just kind of an aside question. I just wondered about that.
Okay, hold that question. And William, you wanted to speak?
Yes, I do have. And another thing I did want to throw in there is like if they're not keeping their word on things like that during the interview process, like they're saying, oh, they're gonna get back to you this day, or no, just things like that. That may be a time to start asking yourself, do I really want to work at that place? Because if they're doing that, what else are they not going to keep their word on? You know, so just something to keep in mind.
Could be a culture indicator.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, however, we don't want to let their poor process for hiring stop us from getting a job. Okay. And so when that says they want to get back with you next week, so okay, and if I don't hear from you next week, may I contact you on, just go ahead and put it on the calendar, get it scheduled.
Yeah.
Thanks,
guys.
Anybody else comment? Steve?
I did want to make a quick comment.
Go ahead.
Because this is Rosina and I am an actual recruiter. So I do give a lot of mercy to other recruiters because of the fact that if you guys aren't aware of the high competition, literally one role, and recruiters handle, depending upon the company, size of company, whatnot, they handle 30 and 40 roles. But if one role has anywhere from 300 to over 1,000 applications, and then someone has the opportunity to find that person's email or phone number, so then that's going to blow up their phone. They are inundated with so much work just from the candidate side. Then on the internal side, they're also having to justify their metrics to their boss and their boss's boss. So I'm not defending not responding, because that's definitely something that they shouldn't do. But there are a lot of new recruiters out there who learning how to manage that type of volume and being able to respond to people in a professional way, they're still learning. So that's why I give grace and mercy to other recruiters.
Well, thank you for the recruiter aspect, because it is,
yeah,
they don't have time to
tough.
contact everybody and say, here's what's going on. They just don't. I mean,
But they could
recruiting
use
falls at the
email.
bottom of the list anyway.
They could use email though. Again, it's how they manage their desk. That's all.
Right.
Well, yeah, and for
So
me,
just still follow up. But
I would say for me,
just know
Rosanna, it's just
hard.
really some frustration just from the standpoint of like, again, I am a recruiter, so I understand all of this stuff, and I was hoping to just get some additional insight, maybe see if there's like an aha moment that I could glean from this to see if there was something that I could be doing differently. So,
do you send a thank you note?
at every single time within 24 hours.
Right. Okay.
One thing that's worked for me is, again, going back to that hiring manager, which I think you already did. And then that person chases the recruiter, right? Saying, hey, I heard you haven't contacted, the candidate. What's going on here? I'm looking to fill this position. So it's always good to keep on having that connection with the hiring manager as well. Because that happened to me with one company where she's like, they haven't contacted you yet?
Yeah.
I'm like, no. So then she got on them. They called me that same day for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Phil?
Hi, it's Phil. Going back, excuse me, going back to our bread and butter and our lifeblood, connections at the company have an inside way to get to the people in HR and that hiring manager. If you're networked well enough into the company, you may be able to find a backdoor route into some feedback. We're always preaching networking, and I truly believe that that's the best way to get a foothold within a company. But if you're not hearing from the people who are supposed to be getting back to you, and HR folks, forgive me, but I don't have pity for we don't have enough people. Hire more people. You've got some very talented folks willing to work for you. And I see grins and giggles here in the room, but it's true that those of us who want to work and help a company grow and get better deserve better than the companies are budgeting for. My opinion only.
Agree. Those are some opportunities for us TA professionals to get in there and do some process improvement work.
You might even contact them and say, hey, it sounds like you need a little help and I can provide that help, you know?
Hi, this is Eric. I didn't catch who the other recruiter was, but as a recruiter, she nailed it. It's the volume of people and trying to keep track of everybody. My suggestion was to tell people to be pleasantly persistent. Don't be a pain. But I had a candidate that actually sent me a picture of, you know, like hanging off a cliff or something like that. It was just some stupid meme. And it was like, hey, you know, I'm hanging in there. Is this a yes, no, or maybe? Give me something. And it was like, that's cute. I mean, it was completely out of thing, but I mean, we're tuned to media. We're you know, I mean, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything. But I was like, okay, that's funny. And it reminded me, it was like, okay, I really need to get back to this person. There's 1,000 reasons why, you know, maybe that person doesn't work there anymore. The job closed. They just don't have time to go tell everybody that, hey, the job closed, it's no longer open. But I think being that pleasantly persistent, you know, email, phone, even text, just to say, hey, can I get a yes, no, or maybe here? And go from there.
Anyone else? Jama.
Just this is Jama, just a quick update. So feedback, I think we really want to know yes, no, or maybe something. But if you're looking for feedback about the interview, I'm just going to make the pitch. You got to go to the practice interview team and find out what's going on. A lot of people, you know, we talk about the resume and the LinkedIn get you in the door, but the interview gets you the job. And I don't know where you are in your search process, but at one point, I've already passed it. You're going to hit the wall because you're sitting there going, I've done everything. I've took my resume. I can't get through this. Get to a really humbling spot where you've done 50, 25, 30, you know, interviews, and you're not getting the job ever the bridesmaid at the altar. Come to the practice interview team. We'll tell you feedback right there. I've known many executives who have finally talked to get into the practice interview team and walked away and said, okay, I'm talking for 4 minutes. People stop listening to me. I'm not giving the results. I've got a good story, but it doesn't end well. So if you're looking for feedback about the interview itself, go practice. We'd like you to do the practice interview team, but there are a lot of other ways you can do that. You can't join us for that.
Thanks, Jamie. Someone said I had contacts. I can make contacts at Verizon. Who was that person? It said I have contacts at Verizon.
That's me.
Okay.
Oh, there was someone. Was there someone else in the room who said so?
Well, Alkeisha said she has contacts, but I thought somebody was also looking at Verizon.
Peter.
Was it Peter?
Yeah.
Okay. And Peter stepped out. Okay. Trying to make that connection. All right. So next topic.
I got a question.
Okay, go ahead, Brad.
So I've had a recommendation by a senior VP that I work for somebody to talk to me about an opportunity. And I have had one Zoom call with this individual, went really good. And I told him he wants to meet again. And I told him I'd rather meet in person than on Zoom because I just prefer that personal relationship that way, right? And we're now going on our 4th. I need to move the meeting. And it's really, it's kind of the same thing Etienne's talked about, I guess, a little bit, but it might be a little bit different. How long do I just keep accepting like I got to move the meeting before I just stop and say, look, this is not a work, this isn't going to work out for me?
Never.
Someone in the room said never.
It's summertime. A lot of things are happening. People have to move things for various reasons. For, you know, I've had 3 different reschedules with somebody.
But
so
that there's nothing more that doesn't send, it sends a signal that you're just not that important. I've got other things that are far more important than you. And I'm gonna move on, right? You know, that to me is not the right message to be sending to people. That's
I'll
just
say
my opinion.
sometimes I mean, it probably is telling perhaps about the company culture or how things are working, but I know that in my last role with almost everything being remote, when I had to schedule in-person meetings, they often got rescheduled a lot because I would be bookended by remote calls and I couldn't get to the venue and back from the venue, and and it would be very hard to move. There were people I very much wanted to meet in person with that I had to move 6, 7 times sometimes just because my boss or my boss's boss needed to meet, right?
I mean, that's I plan for a living, okay? And I expect others to plan their calendar such that they can meet their obligations.
Oh, we're all nodding our heads.
Sometimes people can't do that though.
We're saying
You
everyone
know,
here.
I mean, that's just me, I guess. Maybe I need to change my mindset a little bit, but I don't know.
Brad, I give you an alternative.
Yeah.
Do the Zoom meeting.
You could can you contact this person by email?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's
All
been
right.
through email and everything.
All right. Here's a suggestion that you could consider. First of all, you don't want to tell them that you know they're busy. That's giving them an excuse not to do anything. So we don't say that, but we say, you know, we've had several meetings, you know, it's been put up several times. And so this is the last time that I'm going to contact you. And just tell them this is it. Now, if they want to reach you, they're going to have to reach you. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
That's an option if you want to use that.
Yeah, I kind of sent an email with that message, maybe worded a little bit differently in that, you know, hey, these reschedules are causing me to miss other opportunities to network with people.
You can also suggest, is there another alternative? Is there someone else that I can talk to? Is there, you know?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you know, if it's your target company, you don't want to quit. Patty?
Yeah, I would change it to a Zoom call, which is what this person prefers if that person is very busy. I'm
I've
also
offered
very
that.
much a planner like you.
Yep.
And it's just there are all kinds of fires that they're trying to put out on different days, and they can't. I mean, things happen. So you're gonna have to roll with it and be patient. And you know, or yeah, try another contact at the company. But yeah, this is a difficult time, and we're still in the summer season. So
And please keep it humble, and definitely don't say this is the last time I'm going to contact you. Because for me, for me as a recruiter, I'm like, okay. And that just gets you off my plate. Seriously.
I would never say that to anybody.
Please don't. Yes.
Well, Rosina,
just respect, people are busy. I mean, they are working very hard. So it's a challenge. I'm telling you, there's so many different things coming at people. I'm not trying to give an excuse, but he did say his preferred method was Zoom. I'm sorry, cave in and do what he asked because he can't get everywhere, but he is trying to
Yeah, I've
accomplish.
offered that.
I've
offered that the previous try.
It's probably worth thinking about it in terms of, I mean, you're probably learning a little bit about the company culture as well. I mean, I can, you know, my last role typically had 8 to 9 hours of meetings a day. One of them was in person. I had to blot 2 hours in order to have the travel time for the meeting. I had an admin managing my calendar, and even she would show up and say, I got to move this again. I can't do it because the chief commercial officer wants to meet later today or whatever, right? And I can be a planner all day long, but I was not actually in control of fitting in. I would often offer people then, I mean, most people won't do this probably, but I would then say, hey, if you still want to meet live, why don't we get together at 5:30 for drinks?
I've even offered after
literally
hours,
the only
you
thing I
know,
could do.
I've even offered after hours, you know, at 6
Another
o'clock
good
in the
question to ask
in my personal opinion, at the beginning of any interview or at the right time in the first interview is, where are you in the hiring process? Beginning, middle, of it, or end, just to get a rough idea of, are you the first candidate they've talked to, or are you the very last? Sometimes you get a straight answer. Oh yeah, we're trying to wrap things up by the end of the week with our first round candidates. We've already interviewed a couple of people that are gone through second round interviews. Anything, it's an open-ended question to try to get a sense of where you are in the hiring process.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get an answer, sometimes you don't, but if you don't ask, you're not going to find out. And it could be that, oh, well, I've gotten the response of, oh, we're looking to fill this role 2 months from now. So I know probably Walt might have, you're looking at me with some odd looks.
No.
But anyway, that's
Just my face.
I mean, we've all had an appointment to get our vehicle serviced, right? And you show up there and they're like, oh, we'll get to you in another couple hours. And, you know, nobody's very happy when that happens, right?
Well, some great input.
Oh yeah, it's really good. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
the
some
input.
good
That's why I
options
brought it
here.
up.
We can talk about, and you can choose your option of how, you know, what you think is the best thing to do to move forward. Okay. And what we want to do is get Rosina hired. And then we can find a job where Rosina works. That's what we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, because I manage my desk properly. Even if I have to send you an email or whatnot, oh, I'm gonna close out my day with making sure everybody knows where they stand. That's just a respect thing.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. You know, we had a guest speaker here a couple of weeks ago. He reviews 100 resumes a day, makes 100 phone calls a day. Okay. That's what he does in his recruiting. He reads all the resumes. Now, who does that? Okay. Not very many people do that, but some do. What's our next topic? What other challenges are we having out there?
I got one.
Okay, Matt.
So I think they can hear.
Can y'all hear Matt okay?
I do my best to line up contacts at a company prior to seeing a job posting. So at USAA and other companies, I've got people I've already met, had lunch with, and then I monitor that company's job boards. And so if I see something, I call that person so they get the referral fee and I get at the top of the stack and I get that internal referral. I can't always do that, right? So sometimes you see an opportunity and then you try to find somebody to network in, but you don't want to wait too long because 1,000 people are going to apply and they're going to close it. So my question, especially for the recruiters on the line, how long do you wait? How long do you search for, once you see a job post, how long do you search for somebody to network into the company with before you give up and go ahead and apply? Is that 3 days, a week, 2 weeks?
I didn't catch the first part of that, but typically, I mean, what I've seen lately, especially all the AI stuff going on LinkedIn, are you talking about LinkedIn or just any job posting or?
Any job posting. I strive to have a contact in that company lined up and then I monitor the job board at that company.
Okay.
But if I find a job at a company for which I don't have an internal contact, obviously I try to network my way in first and then they refer me and get the referral fee. But if you wait too long, then they close the job posting.
Right.
My question is, how long do you wait before you give up trying to find a contact at the company and just go ahead and apply online?
Okay. That's a little bit different, but I mean, I've seen, I'm just going off the LinkedIn postings, you know, they're opening and closing within 24 to 48 hours, maybe 72 hours. I mean, they're open, they're getting 200 to 300, you know, like up to 1,000 applicants. And like Rosina said, it's like, okay, you know, you got to turn off the spigot of some sort and sort through the mess and find you know, I've got engineering jobs that, Starbucks barista applied for. I gotta, you know, get through that. The question is, how real is the posting as well? A lot of times companies will post, they have to post externally, and they have an internal candidate that
Sure.
they have to go through.
But you can't know that.
No, you can't.
So in general,
I would say within 72 hours.
I'm
You've got a couple days to get
couple days.
to get in, and then it's going to shut down. Some of them are timed to, I mean, like Raytheon's a big one. They'll open it and they have a timer on that thing where it closes, or when it hits a certain number, it closes. So it's either time-based or number-based thing. They'll sort through, you know, get through their candidates. If they don't find it, reopen it, then it starts all over again. So, you know, what you're doing is absolutely right, but just, the question is, how real is that job? Are they just putting it out there to see, you know, hey, we're kind of looking for somebody, or we got to fill this thing tomorrow, or we're going to lose this client kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I would say you've got about 72 hours.
Okay. I've been internally myself,
Yeah,
thinking 3 days.
3 days.
So
That's
you
it.
kind of validated that.
Must be right.
For the two recruiters on the phone, what do you think?
I'm definitely in the camp of, you know, 2 to 3 days. I've actually had a situation where I applied to a position and then I was referred to someone internal to the company, and I still connected with that person, let them know, hey, I've already sent in the application. I don't know if you guys actually provide a referral fee or not. And he was actually able to go to the through the internal system and still get qualified for a referral fee if I get hired now.
That's great.
Ironically, that's one of the interviews that I had where I haven't heard anything back yet, but but I have stayed in contact with this individual. But yeah, I would say 2 to 3 days is probably the most that I would give it, because again, you know, as he mentioned, I'm seeing the same thing. These jobs are posted, and in some instances, within 24 hours, they take them down, or they have a posting cutoff date at the bottom of the position that says, "Hey, within 72 hours, this job's not. We're going to be, you know, turning this job off." So, I mean, again, I would say 2 or 3 days.
But I like what you said. Even if I have to apply online because I don't have a contact, don't stop looking for the contact.
Absolutely.
Because you still, that person still might get a referral fee. I didn't know that. I thought once somebody applied online, they couldn't technically be considered an internal referral and be eligible for that referral fee.
Yeah, this guy's been he actually was he got hired through his experience at the South Lake Focus Group, so he understands like how everything's going and how it works, and he's been an incredible advocate. It's just unfortunately the company is kind of dragging their feet right now. So
Yeah, so Matt, I've had actually mixed experience with referrals, in that I don't know that that incentive is enough to make any difference. I've had referrals who I applied for the job and they've really helped me out to try and find out what's going on. I've had ones who I waited for a referral and I waited weeks for a referral and without me. So I don't know that that's much of an incentive. I would just apply for the job and then try and find a contact, because if they're willing to help you, they're gonna help you no matter what.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate all the feedback.
And I concur as well, because I've experienced all those things, but I've also missed jobs because I waited 2 days and then again, too many people applied and I lost the opportunity. So continue to apply, but I would personally do the 1 to 2 day thing, only because I've lost a lot of opportunities. Talent acquisition, literally 300 could be within the first hour. And what I've been told is, oh, well, we closed it early because we're trying to manage the volume. We don't want to go over 1,000 people. So that's why we have to take it down. You know, if we posted it on Friday, we have to take it down Monday morning. If we hit 300 by 10 o'clock in the morning, that's when we're taking it down, just to control the volume. So again, at least you can follow up after the fact with a contact if you have one, but get the application in, because that for sure will make sure you have your application in. Because if you don't, you won't be considered.
What's the disadvantage? A disadvantage of doing it early?
There is no disadvantage of doing it early.
I think the disadvantage would be if you apply it online, and if you're at a company where that disqualifies you from the referral fee, they may be less likely.
Okay.
to
Okay, so it'd
go.
be the referral fee part.
Yeah.
Well, again, that, like Etienne said, following up after the fact and having a networking person or having a referral, they can still get qualified from their boss or HR or whoever controls the referral fee. That's not an issue. One of the things, again, is if you're not part of the candidate pool, if your application's not in, you will not be considered, period, no matter what happens. Once they close that rec off the system, they can't consider you along with the whole pool when they're submitting reports to, the different government reports that we have to provide. You're not part of that pool. And they can't just, say, oh, well, go ahead, send me your resume and on the side. No, can't do that. It's not a formal process. So apply. If that's a job you really want, if that's a company you really want to be part of, apply as soon as you see it. That way, for sure you get it in.
Recently at JP Morgan, and when we were looking at as an employee receiving referrals from our contacts, like a VP position that someone was applying for might be like a 5K bonus, whereas a director level or higher would be 10K or more. So there is incentive for your contacts to help you. Of course, it depends on the size of the company, but the point of your referral, having already submitted, and then your contact being able to add you into their through their personal submission, to get credit for the referral. There's a process for doing that. That can happen, as it was mentioned, after the fact, but the advantage is to also continue to follow up with that with your contact, because they can see that, oh, well, it's still pending. It'll give a status to that person, to your internal contact, pending or first under review or whatever. If the candidate's good enough to make it through a couple of rounds, you're able to see what the status is through the system.
That's great. By the way, for those in the room, somebody online named Dan said a few weeks ago, it took me about a day to get a referral, but the job was already pulled within 24 to 36 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't figure out how to get me into the loop. So I think I'm going to change my answer from 3 days to 1. If I can't find somebody in 24 hours, I'm just going to apply online and then continue looking for a referral.
Yeah.
And then I want to also offer, we were on, so Matt, you and I are part of Career Care, which is a networking group on Mondays.
Yep.
Well, the Southwest Airlines recruiter came and he spoke to us. This was several months ago, but you have to keep in mind because of the volume of resumes and applications that companies are getting, what does that internal policy look like? So he shared that Southwest Airlines, they go in order of the application receipt. So if there's 100 applications that are submitted, they're only going to review, let's just say, the first 20. You could be number 21 and the best qualified, but if they say we stop at 20, that's where they stop. So you still would miss it, even if you got your application in. So it depends on what the policy now is on the internal side, and you won't know that.
I just had a thought I wanted to add to kind of what you were doing in following those contacts. Many times a hiring manager, when an opening comes up, he's going to go to his team first. Go, who do you know that you'd like to work with? And that job's not even posted, or it does get posted. But if you continue doing what you're doing and finding that person, getting your resume over to them, when they come up and go, hey, we we need somebody like this, or somebody gets promoted, somebody leaves, somebody quits, that there's an opening there. And by you doing that, even without applying, many times you'll get the job. It's not even posted, because it's that networking, not in the public kind of jobs that come open, because almost every time a hiring manager can go to his team and go, hey, Joe's getting promoted, we need to replace Joe. Who do you know that you'd like to work with in your name, without even having to go through all this mess? So just a thought.
Thanks.
So keep doing it.
I have a question for our recruiters online. The job's posted, it's quit, it's closed. I have someone in the company bring you a resume and you take a look at it. Would you consider that person as a potential employee?
You mean after the position is filled?
After it's closed?
I would pipeline them for the next opportunity, but the position is closed.
No, the posting is closed.
Okay, so the posting is closed, which means let's just say there's 300 candidates in that pool for that particular rec.
Right.
After going through those 300, if there is no one that would be a good fit for that role, and that role can now be closed completely and reopened, then I would consider that resume. But once the pool has been closed, because that is
okay, you answered my question.
That's part of the reporting structure when it comes to submitting how many people applied to this rec, what's the diversity aspects and breakdown and things of that nature. So you can't just add people into a rec that has been closed already.
Well, so you answered my question. You're saying that if that's closed, a referral means nothing.
Not that it means nothing. They can be pipelined, or what pipelining is basically considering people for that opportunity or that type of work, but when it's next available. So again, once I go through that whole rack, if no one is the right fit, no one's going to be hired for that role, we're going to close it out, send the rejection letters out to everybody, and then reopen a brand new rec. Then that referral can now apply to the new rec, be part of the new candidate pool.
ETN, is that what you do?
Well, yeah, and that's how it's supposed to happen. Because
and again, I've gone through literally having to go to court over stuff like this, because recruiters are the first line of defense. And when a legal matter comes up, that's the first thing they say is, what's your order? What's your steps? So I'm sorry, I keep my stuff clean because I don't want to spot on anything.
And especially if you're a government contractor, what she's alluded to on several different occasions, OFCCP and their regulations as it relates to how you handle candidates, whether it be in your tracking system or in general. Like if you get handed a resume and they're not part of that original candidate pool, you can get into a lot of trouble.
Lots of fines.
Steve, you had a comment?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about this discussion about the applications and when we need to quickly get the application in. And then I'm putting that in the context of, okay, you're trying to find contacts, that can either coach you or refer you or something internally. From my experience, like when I come to a group like this and I say, hey, does anybody have a contact at Coach Owens? When someone says, yes, I got one, it can take a month or 2 months for something to materialize out of that, if it does at all. And maybe you guys have different experiences also, but I mean, it can take a long time to, and then someone finally says, oh yeah, would love to connect. Gosh, that was 2 months ago. I've already got the rejection email, 12 hours. So it just highlights how important it is that we are cultivating relationships in our target market, target industry, target field now, not relating to a job posting, because it's too late.
So that was my next question is, we're continually trying to beat the system. This system is the worst system in business today. It is terrible, okay? But we're forced into it because now we got the technology. Now we can submit all these things. Now we can't handle them. So we got applicant tracking system and all sorts of things to weed people. It's a mess, all right? So what do? Well, you target companies, you build their relationships, you talk to them, find out about stuff. Then they have turned to us and talk about us. We don't care if there's a job posted or not. We want to find out about the company, what's needs, what's going on, and maybe how we can fulfill those needs, and they can create a position. And so go into that target company and work with a target company, because you just can't sit there all day long trying to beat the posting limit, all right, and applying online. It's such a low response time. So it's a little bit longer path in order to do that. But I'm right in with saying, work into the company, find out what's going on, what's happening. Then they'll say, well, what do you do? And you start talking and finding out about things. And you ask questions like the person said, well, gee, I noticed online that your company CEO at the quarter earnings report said we got to develop more products with a higher margin. What's going on with that? Guess what he does? He's in product development, right? And so when you find out, oh, well, I can help you. So we need to do, I think, those types of things. The system is not working for us. It just isn't doing that. So it's like any time when you run to a barrier in your job or in your regular job, you figure out how to resolve that. And the same thing with job search. Good comments. Anybody want to close anything? Can we move on? Steve?
One more question for the recruiters. So when you said, hey, here's a position we're looking to open, do you already know somebody? When you ask that question, you're speaking to the hiring manager. Do they already have a contact? Is that when you said that earlier?
Say it again.
When you said earlier that they're looking to open a position, they asked the question, do you already know people that, we can fill this before it ever gets posted?
Right.
When you're talking to the hiring manager. Right. So the question is, do we have relationships with the hiring manager before they have that conversation?
Somebody in the hiring, either the hiring manager themselves or somebody on their team, because they're going to go, the first thing that's going to happen, like I said, there's changes happening all the time. People quit, they leave, they get promoted, they get let go. That slot's open somewhere. And if it's a target company, anybody, I don't want to say stay away from HR, but stay away from HR. You have to go through the process, but if you're I'll just use Matt, you're looking for a director of IT job, is that correct?
Correct.
He's going to go after his peer group and above, actually go up actually above that and then work his way below. I mean, he'd probably start with the CIO, CTO, then down to the VP, then the director. If that CIO leaves, the VP gets promoted, he's got a job. So he's going to be working that network of, hey, here's what I can do for you. If you need, consider me as a candidate anytime there's an opening. And when that happens, then his name's already on, in that group somewhere or somehow of, hey, my buddy Matt's looking, we ought to consider talking to him. If that makes sense. Because there's that shadow, shadow openings that are happening all the time. That's all about, why we're here in networking and who do you know there and who do you know there kind of thing, because that's the ultimate, instead of having to go through the broken mess that's been created in the systems, for sure.
Well, in summary, I suggest we don't beat up HR too badly, but learn how to use HR and recruiters in their world. Okay, how do they need to work? How do they do it? And how we can supply them and do it in their process and their methodology in order to get through into that company. So
in parallel.
Yeah. You can do both, right? You do that, but learn how to work with HR. I mean, sometimes HR makes the decision whether to hire you or not. It's not the hiring manager. And one person said, everybody said great. HR said no. Why? No feedback, right? Okay. So with that, as we go forward in the job search, You know the activities that you should do. You know you should apply some online, whatever. So I have a question for you. Do you have a plan for your daily activities? When you wake up in the morning, do you have specific things that you want to accomplish that day? How many of you can say, yes, I do? All right.
Yes.
How many can say, no, I don't? All right. And do we all agree that we should have a plan? All right. Even though we're not planners, this is job search. You want to get a job? Become a planner. All right. Do what you have to do necessary to do that. So for those of you that plan, I know Patty, I know that you're a planner for that. Tell us about how you go about your planning.
Yep. So what I do is I do a lot of networking with people. I have at least 10 networking calls a week. So I get those lined up the previous week for the current week. And then if I have any interviews scheduled, I block my day so that I have time to prepare for those interviews. I always walk for an hour in the morning. So you want to get some exercise, get some things going, right? And so, but I do leave some room for buffer in case I have something else that comes in. But I spend more of my time networking. I really don't spend a ton of time applying.
Okay. And you're at the stage, you know, you're later in the stage of job search. Just so you don't have to put a lot of time on resumes. You don't have to put, you know, got your LinkedIn stuff done. You got some of that initial stuff already taken care of.
Right.
What do other people do that are planners?
Walt, I'm just kind of similar to Patty. I try to spend the business hours time doing networking and connecting with folks, and then I set aside an hour in the evening to where if there's any positions that look good or that I've heard about or that I've seen or received any sort of email notification for, I set aside an hour in the evening where I submit those applications for those roles. But I try not to do that during the normal business hours because, you know, I'm trying to be sensitive to everyone else's time and trying to catch them, you know, when they're available during that business time so that we can have those conversations.
Okay.
For me, I've kept the same schedule that I had when I was working. I get up at the same time, I work out, have breakfast. On Sundays, I plan my week, what I want to get done every day during the week. And like Patty, schedule networking calls a week ahead so that I know which networking calls I have on which days. And yeah, I just make the plan and work the plan.
Okay. How many of us have a top priority of reviewing emails? Yep. So you're letting email control your time during the day. What if we set aside some time to do email? Right.
And don't forget to check your spam.
And check. Oh yeah, check spam. Right. Yeah.
I don't know why, but the word recruiter appears in your email. Often says there.
How many of us let our phone be the priority? Yeah. I mean, get a phone call or something. I tell you, on phone calls, if it's really important, they'll leave a message. Okay. And I can get back to them. But I can set a time and say, okay, here's when I'm going to, you know, answer phone calls for that. So I suggest that try not to let the everyday activity interrupt your plan. Put your plan together so that's okay. Now, when I was working, I had 80 emails a day. All right. I had 47 schools as customers. Now I had something going on. So when did I do that? So I had to set a time, and it was 2 hours a day to go through those emails, because my philosophy was I will answer all emails within 24 hours. So I'm going to answer that. So sometimes that was 9 to 11 p.m. That was not good, right? But that's just as suggestions. Try to watch for the daylight. I'm a person that says I got to do something. Oh, let me see what's in the refrigerator. And I look there 3 times. I know something's going to appear sooner or later. Right? So those, if you look at your activities and say, am I using my time wisely? And how can I do a better job of that?
So Walt, I will tell you that about 3 or 4 months into the job search, I started talking to people who landed and asked them what they did
Right.
from, that was successful. And I got this piece of advice, which I think was meant for me. Take half a day, do whatever your job search activity is, but don't forget your family. So I have to tell you, I, like many of you, worked my, off for I don't know how many years. I missed whole segments of my kids' lives because I traveled the world, did all this stuff. So I now plan my schedule not only around, like Matt, checking the career DFW calendar, but I check when my husband's off, when my kids are home, and I actually plot time on the calendar to make sure I spend time with my family. And in this group on Friday, we also heard from a professor from UT, right? Who had the cleanest closets. It was his third time in job search. So all the things we said we would do, men and women, clean out that garage, do whatever we have, because we never had time, plot a little bit of time for that kind of stuff. So on my calendar, I try to add those things. Can't say I'm always successful, but it's on there. We're going to miss moments with our family, and job search is already tough, and it's probably tough for them. So make sure that we spend, it doesn't have to cost money to spend time. Our kids don't ask us. They ask us for money because that's how we told them we reward them. We'll give you cash to go somewhere. What is the value of time? I know Walt's laughing. He goes, yeah. I mean, really, right? What do you want from me? Like, no, I want my kids to want time with you. So don't forget your family. They don't even have to be here. Even my parents are out in California. Spend time with your family, especially during this difficult time. They could be your resource.
And my kids have reached the age where money is more important than time.
So, I'm there. I was going to chime onto that, but having that balance helps with your mental state. Being calm and in control. The other thing is volunteering and investing in your own skills. So both have been phenomenal. Like, because when you leave your work and you don't have that badge and you're not part of that work family and you're not belonging to it, volunteering and giving your advice and helping people restores kind of some of that self-worth again. And then, getting free training on Udemy. If you don't know how to do that, we can certainly help you. There's great classes on there. And you can, advance your skills and get that confidence and actually be a higher performer because of this period when you invested in yourself. You're going to come out stronger and better. Really great classes on there. So I recommend it.
I'm surprised Patty or Rosina hadn't put Udemy in the chat already. Others?
Yeah, well, what I do is, you were talking about the email things. I have alert emails that come out like from LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor about positions. So the first thing I do, that's what I do first thing in the morning. This goes back to what Matt was talking about. I go out there and look, and I see if there's any jobs that I could apply for. And then I start hunting for contacts at those companies to see if I've already developed contacts at those companies. And because I want to be in there early and I want to be in there with a name if I can. And then at that point, it's like the day is kind of governed by how much activity is generated off that. Because to me, that's where I'm going to get the most activity. That's where I'm going to get the most bang for my buck. Given, like you said, given the tight windows, it looks like if I can get something in within a day or two, that I'll be considered, especially about the contract.
Okay. Yep, I know that spending some of my time was watching Yes to the Dress. Yes, sir. If your wife likes to watch TV, sometimes that's what you do. Okay. I wish he was still here. I'd watch it again.
I got luck. Well, speaking of, my mom used to watch a lot of the crime dramas of Chicago Fire, Police, Rookie, FBI. And I used to go and talk to her and then get involved in watching those shows. But last night it was a cycle of life role reversal. My daughter has gotten into finding Rookie on Disney Plus and has been liking it and going through the series, binge watching it. So my wife was watching the Olympics in the living room, so I told her she could watch it in my bedroom, which is actually my mom's old room. So my daughter was sitting in the recliner where my mom used to, and I was laying on my bed where I used to come in to visit her, and I got involved in watching The Rookie, a couple episodes with her till after 2 a.m.
There you go.
It was hard for my 9 o'clock meeting this morning, but the time was priceless last night, though.
All right, other questions? We'll get off of budgeting time.
So my question. My name's Tim. My question involves when an application process online or through a screening request salary information. And some of the online forms require a number. Some don't allow anything beyond a number such as, a range or other explanation supporting a value. But my question is, should I always answer that? Should I be precise? Should I give a range? Should I stay away from it so early in the process?
So what are our options?
Yeah, so what I've kind of done this a couple of different ways, but I found out the first thing you should do is you need to research the position and find out what the range should be. You should always answer with the range. If you can't answer with the range, be honest and say, what is the minimum that you're going to pay? When you don't know. Just because I've been in a situation where two jobs that I wanted to interview with, they stayed with the range was. It was below what I wanted. There's no point in negotiating. It'd be very clear there was no negotiation. So I would say do a range if you can. And then just be honest if you're not going to take less than a certain amount if it only takes one number.
But your question is not in the conversation, it's in the actual application.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Early on in the process. Yeah, and they'll say, put in a number. I'll put in 0.
Yeah, sometimes it won't let you do that.
Oh, not 0.
And what do our recruiters think when we put in just a number? Like just so that it'll fill the space and it won't reject. Okay. But what do our recruiters think when we do that?
There's a couple things. Really good responses. One, there's budget. I want to get
a couple things on that. One, it could be depending on the system. If you don't enter it, you're not.
You can't apply.
Out.
Yeah.
You're done. You're out of the pool.
It forces a number.
If it'll force you, it'll say if it's not within this range, then you go to the bottom of the pile or you're kicked out completely. So if it's mandatory, then definitely put your number in there. If it's, hey, kind of what are you looking for? The range, let's say the range is 80 to 120. The actual pay is probably going to be somewhere in the mid range of that. Typically. And then, have your number. It's like, look, I'm not going to do it for less than this. And you can put that number in. I mean, Walt had his story at the first year was an offer. It was a 125 and he got 185. I've had that happen so many times. I mean, your goal is to get in the door and then blow their socks off. And then the hiring manager can go, okay, well, we budgeted for this, but we really, really like you. And, the negotiation point starts then, not now. So your goal is just to get consideration, get in the door, have a conversation. And then they go, oh, okay, well, you can do A, B, and C, but you can do D, E, and F too. That's worth another 10, 20 grand. So definitely put the number in if it's mandatory. Otherwise, you have a high risk of being kicked out just by an automated process.
So you're saying whatever number you enter has to be within that pay range or in the
correct. Or if you don't put anything in, you do all 9s or 0s or whatever, it's just going to say
you know, next. You know, we're not gonna deal with
So you
this.
have to guess what's a number inside that range.
Yeah, you should be in the same ballpark. I mean, if it's, you know, your job, you're qualified for it, you know, it's within that range. Yeah.
That's not a
Not a fair fight.
It's not fair.
Let me,
Whole system.
can I make sure I understand what's going on?
Yeah,
In the application, does it ask for a number or a range?
depends.
I've
Both?
never seen a number. I've seen.
It can be both?
Yeah.
Okay,
What is your salary requirements?
okay,
And it's a requirement, a little asterisk or whatever.
okay.
You can submit the form if there's not an entry in there. If it were- if
Can you
it
take the mic?
says Text.
Get the mic.
If it's alphanumeric, then you can sit there and say negotiable if you want to be coy. Or you could put in a range and maybe 90 to 110 shows up in the system. I don't know how these systems all work. They're
Well, what-
different systems. But
What the
you do run a risk if it's required and you don't put anything acceptable or don't. Yeah, if you don't put
Okay.
anything acceptable, it's gonna kick you out.
ETN?
Well, yeah, what they're referring to is it's called a knockout question. And in some of these instances, these ATSs are set up so that if you don't respond to the question in a certain kind of way, it's just going to completely knock you out of the process. So in the instance where you have, like, if it's alphanumeric, if that's set up as one of the knockout questions and you don't respond with a number, it could completely remove you from the process.
So do the applications ask requirements as well as what you were making? They don't, well, yes, they can. Certain states cannot. It's against the law. Plus, some people ask you anyway. They don't know the law.
Yep, exactly.
So, but there's usually then a requirement.
Typically, if the state doesn't allow it, then it's optional. I've seen applications where, believe it or not, they ask me for my race, but it's optional. They ask me for my sexual orientation, but it's optional. And one of the options for both of those is prefer not to answer. But I don't do that because I think that raises a red flag.
Just a quick pitch that Frisco Connect next Tuesday, bring these questions to Dirk Spencer, who's, the topic is ATS applicant tracking system soup to nuts. So that would be a good place to ask this question again.
So just a follow-up, in this situation, then if I have to put in a number, is it best to put in a very low number?
I would say you need the range. You gotta give the range, whatever, and they don't tell you what range is, so you gotta guess, kind of like a middle number. So you should be.
That's why I'm
really
close to the same ballpark. I mean, if they're gonna, if they don't have the budget to do it. And they want a low ball, they want a $100,000 person for 80,000, then you're gonna find that out. But I mean, just walking into the door, you want to get in the door. You don't want anything to keep you from not going there. This negotiable down the end, you get an offer letter, hey, for 125, hey, you want me to do this, this, and this? How about 150, 180? Okay. But right up front, nice tell candidates, I'm like, don't ask for the salary, don't ask for the benefits right up front because you're not ready to get married. Your goal is to get a first date. And not have, you can get meet family and get married later. But for right now, you just want to get the door. So know your numbers, hey, I can't do anything for less than this. This would be ideal.
I won't do it for anything, this is my bottom line number. I can't go any less than this. And, would like to have this would be, this would be good. This would be great. Somewhere between that minimum and good number. So if it's, 80 to 100, put in 90. But yeah, again, do your research and the market's the marketing. The market's going to pay. A lot of people are going, well, I'm going to ask for, $10,000, $20,000 more than I was making before. Well, that's not the market. You got to know what the market is and what that ballpark is. And it's like, you guys are both playing the same ballpark, you might be off, you know, $5, $10, $20,000, but that initial, like I said, it is a screening. I remember the gentleman's name up there. It is an algorithmic thing of, I don't see this, you're out. So
I'll give you another option, but primarily what we're hearing is do your homework. BLS.gov and salary.com is company provided salary data, location, job, and industry, so that you can get an idea of what that is. Then you have your own number. There's also an option for you in any open box where you can put something in. You can say, make a salary thing. I'm expecting something in salary, and you can give a range in that. You don't have to give it just in the one little box that they give you as an option. So, and if they force you to put in numbers, you can put in what you're expecting, and down at the bottom you say any numbers on salary are based on what my requirements would be. Make a comment to that.
Is salary.com still a pretty reliable place to get a range for a particular job?
I don't know totally about the reliability. I know it's been used, and what I suggest you do in any place that gives data and information, research their resources and how they get their data. And it'll often be explained in the website. I haven't looked at salary for a while, but how do they get it? BLS, you can figure out where they get it. When I was working for companies, I get this form that says, if you don't fill out this form, we're going to shoot you. And you got to put in this information and send it back to the government. So BLS is very reliable for its, but check on salary.com. And you can look, you know, there's ranges and things found, but a lot of it is employee provided salary information. And
is that a Glassdoor kind of thing?
Yeah, Glassdoor and Indeed. Now, sometimes they will put a range on a job in when they post something to those to give you that. Government almost always puts a range into the job, and it'll say 50 to 190. I know they got this huge range, you know, to cover everybody in California and New York and all that. So I would suggest that.
So does BLS break it out by geographical?
BLS has about 8 or 9 parameters. Years you've been in your
Yes.
job, education, a whole bunch of different parameters that you have that comes back with it. So it's a pretty good place to go look. Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS.
I put it in the link in the chat. So, and that link shows it by every metropolitan area. So.
Thank you.
So in closing today, be sure you put your email address in the chat window for those of you online, and then on the sign up sheet, a legible email address. You'd be surprised. It's part of networking if you can't read your stuff. So, and Matt takes care of that. Thank God I have Matt to do that. That's the fun job, right, Matt?
That's fun.
And so let me, let's finish up today. Okay. So just a couple of things for you. You know, we talked about careerfw.org and something, but here is, and if you don't know about careerfw.org, that's the first place I'll tell any new job seeking person to go. It's got great resources and great things to look at that. And you can look at their calendar. And when you click on the calendar, it will show you a couple of different views. This is the, I don't know how to name this view, but shows all the different things that are color coded. There's a ton of things that are going on in the DFW area that you can look at. And if you click on the agenda view, it'll do it by day. And so you can go down, you can click and say, okay, here's that. So, you know, we were talking about career connection on Tuesday. So you can go down and find out when career connection, click on it and get all the information about it that you want. So use that calendar to help you discover and find what are the areas where I can spend productive time in job search. And I would say that South Lake Focus Group, the Career Connect, this group, Pit Crew, and there's some others that are very, very popular. Networking.
LinkedIn Tuesday.
Yeah, LinkedIn Tuesdays for Patty. She runs the LinkedIn. Sorry, Patty.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
And by the way, we can't update that right now. We're working on it. So the 2 job fairs that we talked about earlier are not in the calendar, but I will include the information for those and everything else I talked about in the follow-up email if you provide the.
Okay, thank you, Matt. So I'll take a look at that. If you go to the YouTube channel of our Career USA and you click on playlist, this will appear. And you see that, and you'll get these categories of videos that have been recorded. There's probably 400 plus videos out there now today. If you click a particular category, if you click on this, it's going to start playing that video. If you click on full playlist, then you'll get something like this, and then it'll have a whole series of what's out there, and you can scroll through that to find videos that might be of interest to you that have been recorded. So Tuesday, tell us about Terry, Patty.
Yeah, so Terry is the founder of BuzzPro. It's an internationally recognized digital marketing and social selling training company, and it helps companies and professionals from around the world get better results on LinkedIn. Since 2012, Terry has given more than 100 training presentations per year and has helped more than 78,000 clients worldwide. His session is not to be missed. It's how to help you how to create a LinkedIn brand that tells your key contacts who you are, what you do, and how you help. And that's at 1 o'clock Central Time on Tuesday. So I hope to see you there.
Wonder where you got the who you are and what you how you help. That's pretty cool.
Sounds like you, Walt.
Say again.
There's no. Yes, the link is in careerdfw.org.
Yeah,
but please note that he doesn't want to be recorded. So you have to watch.
He makes his living off of doing this. He speaks at SMU and does other things. There's a lot of business uses for LinkedIn, and so he majors in that. So I will warn you, Terry's presentation style is subbed down one word: fire hose. He goes through it, and all the questions come at the end. But he offers to say, "Send me your resume. I'll take a look at it. I'll help you. Send me your LinkedIn. I mean, and I'll." So he'll do. Pardon? Yeah. He takes calls. So,
and you can go to talkwithterry.com and schedule 15 or 30 minutes with him for free, and he'll review your LinkedIn profile with you.
Speak with Terry. Speak with Terry. Talk with Terry.
Speak with Terry.
Is it speak? Speakwithterry.com.
Go to this session. Yeah, I definitely would. So thank you, Patty, for that information about Terry. On Wednesdays is the practice interview team, the pit crew. Come be an observer, or you can send a message to www.dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. Say I'd like to register, send a resume and a job description, get on the list. The fourth Wednesday of the month is online. And so that's to allow people outside, but you can also jump online and observe that one as well. So they meet right here in this room at Christ United Methodist Church at Coit. You come in the door opposite McDonald's and you're in the right place at 1 o'clock Central Time. So what's coming up? I'm going to talk about analyzing the job description and the interview process. What do we learn from the JD? Some of us just kind of peruse through it and look at it, but we just take it apart and really analyze it word by word, sentence by sentence, bullet by bullet, whatever, and learn what we're talking about. For example, have you seen what that JD might represent in the culture of the company? Are there any culture indicators? For example, fast-paced environment. Doesn't that generate a question? What do you mean fast-paced environment? We have a treadmill in the office, and so. And then on the next Friday, on the 16th, Patty's going to introduce us to a tool that we have. Speak a little bit about Crystal Nose, Patty. Did you leave?
Patty had to leave.
Okay. Well, Crystal Nose is a tool. It's a Chrome extension in Google Chrome that you can use that does a DISC assessment of a person based on their LinkedIn profile. And they're about 85% accurate. I talked with them yesterday about, because I was asking if I could get more free allowances to do that. They give you 5 free ones. And so, but anyway, come find out what that does and how that can help you, so that when you know who your interviewer is, you can go out on LinkedIn and you can get some great information about that. So just a reminder, we're going to go to Dickey's today at 11:45. Be glad to have you. How many people are going to lunch today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So we need seats for 10. Somebody will still come. Okay. Great to see you there. Thanks for joining us today. See you next week.
Thank you. Chat saved.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, save the chat, save the chat.